What? 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 What's going on, guys? It's your boy GD Warrior. Thank you so much for tuning in. And today I wanted to show you why my bike is leaking. And it's just the nature of, having a motorcycle, that at some point your motorcycle will leak. And then at some point you will have to figure out where it's leaking from. We will see what the reason was, and we are going to fix it together. So stay tuned. It's your boy GD Warrior. Alright guys, so in my introduction video you saw that the leak was basically coming from this area right here. It was just underneath my cam cover, which is this little thingy. Right, this is your cam cover. I can see a few spots right here on the exhaust that indicate that it might, here, I don't know if you guys can see this, that indicates that it's most likely coming from the cam cover. Alright, when you take the cam cover off, there is a gasket inside, which, might have to be replaced after time. I mean, it's a 2008 bike and we have 2018, so, you do the math. Alright, so I would say let's take a look underneath and see if it's really coming from the cam cover. I would recommend grab some kind of light source that you have, and let's hop underneath the bike and see if it's really coming from the cam cover and how you're gonna locate it. So right here we see, here's an old LED strip that I still have. That's funny. Anyways, you can say, yep, there was oil here. I remember the bike was just washed a few days ago. And right here we got a few spots on the exhaust. We also have, let's see, we also have some spots right here. Okay, it's also getting a little more wet over here. And if we look at the cover, it's pretty wet over there. Okay, so now let's move over to the cam cover. You can see it's even more wet over there. Okay, so my guess is it's coming from the cam cover. If we inspect it from the top, there is nothing there. Right? There's nothing on the cam cover. And I just inspected my cylinders as well, and there's nothing over there. It's pretty dry. I know you want to change the valve covers right here. So let's take it off and see if this is really the reason why it's leaking. What you also want to check for is your oil filter. In my case, I have a chin spoiler, and this one needs to be removed, so we can check on the oil filter and see if it's not leaking from there. Alright guys, so what we just did is we checked the oil filter and it's not leaking, it's nice and dry. I also checked the drain plug right behind it and it's dry as well. So let's move over back to the cam cover. Alright guys, so it's definitely coming from the cam cover, and in order to take this one off, we have to get to that bolt in the back over there. You see that? My problem is that I can't get that last screw or bolt out that is in the back, so I'm gonna have to take the exhaust off. Alright guys, so in order to remove the exhaust, in my case with the Speedstar exhaust, we are going to remove these bolts right here. Then we will move over to the rear header, and then we'll move over to the front and replace the bolts that are right in there. So let's get started. Alright guys, both of these bolts are number 14 bolts, so let's take these off first. Okay guys, we have removed both bolts, and now we're gonna move over to the rear header. Alright guys, now it's time to take out the two bolts in the rear exhaust header. So I removed already one. Let's take out the next one. What I like about the Speedstar exhaust is the fact that the heat shield bolts right into the flanges right here of the exhaust itself. Alright guys, same thing here. The socket you will be using is the number 12. And I removed already one bolt, so let's take out the other one. Alright, this was it. Now let's remove the exhaust. Okay guys, since we have removed the exhaust now, we are able to take off the cam cover and get to that last bolt that I mentioned in the beginning. Alright guys, so we're inspecting the area again, and right here we can see one more time that on top everything is dry. So the only place that it could come from is right here from the cam cover. Okay, here's the cam cover. It has 3 bolts on top, one here on the side, one here on the side, one in the middle, and then you got bolts over here as well. You see that little drop over here? Most likely not, it's super dark in here. Right here, see? That's where it's coming from. Alright guys, now it's time to get to work and take the cam cover off. Since there is oil in there, I would recommend to put a little rag or something underneath it. So now let's take off the cam cover. Alright guys, I have taken off the cam cover and now it's inspection time. Now we want to see why it was leaking. I know I have found a bolt missing, so that's most likely the case. Okay, so the gasket itself looks pretty good. You know, it's a little bit dirty and stuff, and they also come with this coating here from the manufacturer. And what we're gonna do is I'm gonna clean up the gasket and apply some new gasket sealer, and then we will install everything back together. Also, I have found a new bolt, and obviously we'll install it. Alright guys, so we have cleaned up the gasket area around the cover and also the gasket itself. So what we're gonna do now is we will apply some ultra synthetic Permatex gasket maker. It's specifically designed for synthetic motor oil. Okay, right here it is, ultra synthetic motor oil resistant gasket maker. Okay, after you have applied your gasket maker, make sure you put the gasket on. There's specific alignment bolts here that help you to align the gasket. The sealant will also help you to keep it sticky. Okay, let's use another layer of the gasket maker. So we make sure both sides are sealed. Not much, just a little bit. Alright guys, it's time to put the cover back on, so that's sitting very nicely. This is your solenoid wire, so make sure you run it like the factory wants you to. Okay. Now put your solenoid cover in first. Also wipe off excessive sealant, gasket maker I should say. Okay guys, now it's time to put the cam cover back on. Alright guys, let's torque down the bolts, and the bolt torque spec is 7.2. Alright guys, we have finished everything, so now it's time to put the exhaust back on. We located the oil leak, we know what caused it, and we have fixed it. So now you're able to do it on your own, just in case you will find an oil leak on your bike. Doesn't matter if it's a Yamaha Warrior, Harley Davidson, Suzuki, Ducati, Kawasaki, Honda, Indian, Victory, doesn't matter. It's always the same process. Now something specific on this bike. When you torque your exhaust, right here, this is the front, these two nuts are going to be at 14 pounds of torque. Rear header, 17. Alright? Another thing to mention, when you locate your oil leak, in our case it was right here in the cam cover area, clean the area up completely so it's dry. So when you fix it and you think it's fixed and you come back in the morning and there is another new oil leak, you will know exactly where it's coming from. Okay? Alright guys, if this video was of any value to you, please hit the subscribe button, and I would like to know from you, when was your last oil leak and how did you fix it? Comment below, and if you know anybody who would benefit from this video, please share it with them, and I would say I'm gonna go for a ride. It's your boy, GD Warrior.